now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chat TGR. I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joe.
And very exciting day here at TheGigRig. We've just launched a new product.
Yeah, boy.
And this is it. This is the TheGigRig more or less. It's a remote volume control booster. And 'tis a groovy thing. Yeah, so we just thought we'd chat a little bit about that today and answer any questions that you've got about it. It's been something that we've been working on. The idea is that we've been thinking about doing some more utility stuff. And this is, by utility stuff, what do I mean? We have the Synco, which is a passive in and out box. We thought, well, what could we do that's interesting? You know, buffers and things. And it's like, yeah, we can. Surely there's something more interesting that we can do than that. And it all sort of came together. The Christmas do last year.
Yeah. I was wondering if this story was
Yeah. So this is funny, right? This is funny. We were out at Bath having our Christmas do, and Teen and I and the kids were going to Australia like a couple of days after. And I'd had this thing going around in my mind. Basically, we've fitted a lot of volume pedals to people's boards over the years. And they always seem
Lacking.
well compromised in some way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're all great, but it's like, yeah, it's really good. I really like the sweep of it, but it's too big. Or yeah, it sounds really good, but I don't like the feel, or you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really like a volume pedal on some gigs, but it takes up a lot of space, you know, and the confusion with input and output impedances and all that stuff. So the story goes, we were at the Christmas do in Bath, and we'd been talking about this stuff. And we were getting on the train from Bath.
One thing, I want to
Okay.
a little bit. We'd gone for this meal, and you gave this speech about how like our little team can achieve anything,
Right.
but we stick our minds to it. So this is directly after that speech. We had a great day. We went to Bath Spa for the day, didn't we?
Yeah,
the
we
whole
did.
team.
Yeah.
We went for food, and then you've given this really motivating speech how our little team can achieve anything. Then I'll let you continue.
Okay,
I
thank you
feel
very
like
much.
that's an important bit of
Thank you very
the
much.
story.
So we were catching the train home, and like Bath to Swindon is like what, 15 minutes
it's
on
like
the train.
2 stops.
Yeah. And I forget what time the last train was. Anyway, we rushed to the train station, and now there's a train at the thing.
At the right platform.
Yep,
to be
at the
fair.
right
It's
platform.
it's platform 2 or whatever, and we've run up to platform 2.
Yeah.
At the right time.
And we saw these girls came up to us and said, "Oh, is this the train to Swindon?" And then Laura says, "It better be," and we all pile on this train. Of course, the train leaves the station in the wrong direction, and so we're heading. Never been wherever we went before. It's like,
I
and
think
so
we were heading to like Western Superman.
Yeah, that's what I had in my head,
Okay.
Western Superman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we've completely stuffed up. We need to get off the train and wait. So there's a little place called Freshford.
Yeah.
So we got off the train with these two girls that for whatever reason followed us onto the train, hoping it went to Swindon, and it was really cold.
And it wasn't like a train station. It was
No, it
one
was
of
a
those
little-
literally just 2 platforms. It's all outside.
There was a bench.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like,
Nothing.
right at the end of November, so it was
Yeah.
getting into the minuses.
Yep.
And we all sort of stood there like penguins, sort of like trying to keep warm,
Yep.
waiting for the
I don't know
train to
how
come.
long we stood there for, but it felt
Yeah.
like forever.
And when we looked at the train times, because no one really had any phone signal, and when we found the train times to get back to Bath, we technically would have missed the last train home to Swindon, but luckily, because British trains are never on time, because that was late, we managed to get back to Bath in time. But I just remember it's this moment of you passionately talking about how we can achieve anything, and then we couldn't even get on the right train together.
Brilliant.
And for ages, more or less, we were going to call Freshford. We campaigned to call it Freshford.
Yeah. Because by the time the train had turned up, more or less was done.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like,
we'd planned it
guys,
out.
this is, all the ideas, this is it. So, this is it. So the idea with more or less was a remote volume pedal that you had control over the heel and toe position. So, for example, with the heel at 0 and the toe at 0, you have a standard volume pedal, right? So with the heel at 0, it's green, and then at toe, it's amber, right? Which is unity.
Yeah.
So you can see, I can see that's in green. I can see it's lower than unity, and then amber. I know that we're at unity. But then the idea was, okay, but I personally don't go all the way down to 0. I just want a range that, I love a booster, but I want to be able to modulate the range. Well, I can change that toe position so that it doesn't go down to 0, but then I've got 12 dB of boost in the toe. So I can modulate between less than unity to gain, then back to unity, and I can see where, there it is. I can see where unity is, and I can just sort of work around that level. But what I really wanted to be able to do, because I don't want to use it all the time. So basically, you can put this anywhere on your board. It's really tiny. It's really light. I even hide it away. And when I unplug that cable, it's just a class A buffer.
Yep.
It's like balanced buffer. It's really great. The other great thing about it is there's no audio in the TRS cable, and because it has a really high headroom, you can stick this anywhere in the signal chain, including line level situations, which means
wicked.
if you've got an effects loop, you can stick this back in the effects loop and control the volume of your amplifier. They have master volume
awesome.
at the front of the stage.
No loss.
Yep, no loss. You want to find an expression pedal that you like the feel of, and
Do the rest.
that'll do the rest.
Yeah, that's very cool, man.
Just want to say, so we have Lizzie producing today. Say hi, Lizzie.
Hello.
Lizzie has a microphone.
Lizzie has a microphone.
I hope everyone's happy. So we spent ages thinking, okay, it's got to be really super simple, but really powerful at the same time. So there are dip switches inside that you can change the curve as well, in case you want a different curve. Also, another dip switch that if you want to control this via CC message, CV message, or control voltage, you can. Yeah, very, very groovy thing.
I'm stoked on it. I'm really excited, genuinely. It's such a simple product, but there's so much you can do with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
hopefully there's been some images come up that you can see. Yeah, so well done, Lizzie. She's so good. Yeah. So there we go. More or less. Really, really pleased it's out there now. And the links are in the description if you want to go and check it out on the site. And another link that's in the description, our first ever in 20 years. I'm ashamed to say this. It's taken 20 years for our first
busy.
ever merch.
You've been busy.
Not designing t-shirts.
Yeah,
No.
man.
No.
No. So that is also in the description of the video. If you want to grab some GigRig merch,
You now can.
You now can. So certified awesome. And you'll see there's test stickers on all the GigRig stuff says certified awesome. And we were wondering, what are we going to do? Like the logo. I think the logo is what it is. I think if we're starting again, the logo might be a bit different. It's because it's a nightmare to square up.
It's
Yeah.
long.
It's
Yeah.
long.
But it's
no.
been the logo for
But it's
so
been the
long.
logo forever. It's like, okay, and then I think it was Claire that came up with it. Who came up with it?
I think it was Clay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it might have been Claire. Yeah.
Right, because we had a couple of designs kicking around, and nearly went with one, and then everyone went, "No, I don't like that.
This is better."
all." So yes, there we go, some merch. Hurrah!
Moich.
Dan, I'm sorry to interrupt. BV isn't in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Can you just have a really quick look and see what's going on? We've got Laura in the chat, so I know we're there. We're live.
Okay, wonderful.
Our Laura.
Our Laura.
Hi, Laws.
Hi, Laws.
Hey, Laws.
She said it may have been my fault in regards to.
The train.
Train.
Very good.
That was great.
I think it's something to do with going from the premiere to the live.
Right.
It doesn't seem to have linked, so people
Oh.
might need to just go.
Hop along, sail away, sail away.
I've texted BV, and so let's just see. Let's have a look, shall we?
We shall.
We've done the premiere.
So we do have people there, but
Oh, we do have people. Oh,
we
wonderful.
have some people, but it's just not showing as it should be.
Oh, okay.
So I want to make sure everyone can get in if they.
It's because we sorted the audio out. There
I
would
know,
be another
it would
problem.
be too
We are
much.
trying. We
We're
promise.
trying hard.
Okay.
These microphones were supposed to have turned up on Monday, and they turned up at 3:30 today.
Yep.
We were sound checking with different mics when this box turned up, the size of Joe, and then luckily everything just went together very
Made it
easily.
happen.
But yeah.
Where are you, BV?
Okay. Let's see. So there's been a couple of other things, just while I'm trying to get hold of BV. A couple of other things happen in YouTube world. Not YouTube world.
Pedal
In
World.
Pedal World, what I was talking about on the brain. So relatively quiet week.
Yeah,
but-
very quiet for releases this week.
Yeah, but an interesting thing with some new plugins from Strymon.
Oh yes, the
Yeah.
Strymon plugins. Yeah,
Very interesting, to be fair.
they've dipped their toes into the plugin. They've done the L cap and the dig.
Yeah, I
is that
believe so.
right?
Yes.
For all of your delay plugin needs.
So I had the L cap when it first came out, like before the timeline was released, and loved it so much. And Dave Gregory bought one as well, and just use that thing. And I think, let me get this right, was it the first company before Strymon? Was it Damage Control?
Damage control. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And they had that big blue delay with a
Yeah.
valve in it.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
And then that just stopped. And then Strymon started.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really cool pedals, by the way, if you can find those old Damage Control ones.
Yeah.
But Strymon starts. And I don't know if the L cap was the first one, but it was. There was a whole succession of them.
Yeah, it was early on at least.
And then Timeline comes out and changes the world.
I think the dig is also one of those pedals that has sort of been slept on. You don't really see that as much as the L cap, but
I think
it's equally in it.
great delay pedal.
Stunning delay.
Okay. So
Feel good?
yeah, I'm trying to be good. BV is does he do us a favour?
Yeah.
Can you send me a link from the live stream?
So it looks like you have to go in through the end of the premiere. So it's not showing
Okay.
as its own thing.
Okay. Right.
So you have to go via the video that was posted
Technology.
Okay.
20 minutes ago to get the link to the live.
Technology.
Right. Okay. Are there any comments coming in?
There are. So yeah, we have got people watching. We have a guy said, Charlie said, we did get cut off for a bit. Hopefully everyone will get caught up. But
Cool.
it's lovely to see us all again.
Oh,
Hi,
lovely.
Charlie.
Hey, man.
And how's the audio, everyone?
I think it's clicking.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do
that. I'm seriously PTSD.
He's about to have an aneurysm.
Well, the funny thing is, I take it for granted because obviously been doing this a long time at TPS, and I do vlogs and stuff with the cameras, but because you edit the video in post, you edit all the audio in post, and plugins are amazing, but doing it live is like really hard. So I had to sit down with Mick and go through a bunch of stuff, and eventually I just put my hands up in the air and just went, I just don't have the right stuff to do it. So we went and got these mics, and they're much better.
Yeah.
But I had we had Rode wireless Go-2s, which I used to film, and they sound great, but for whatever reason,
well, it's the same as recording in the studio and playing live. They're two different disciplines, aren't they?
yes. Okay, I've just told BV that's via the more or less video, so hopefully.
People are happy with the audio.
Oh, wonderful!
Audio is great.
Wonderful.
However, the video.
Yeah.
You're in black and white now.
Yeah.
Okay, I found. Okay,
There we
there
are.
we go. There we go. I'm just going to share that.
My blue jeans. Look, we're all wearing blue jeans.
Yeah.
How does he's wearing blue
Even me,
jeans?
blue jean
It
gang.
was evidently an email that went round.
Okay.
Just in the meantime, we do have a question about the more or less.
Yeah.
It was just asking, could it be used in a loop of a QMX? That was from Gareth P.
100%.
Yes, it
It's a
can.
perfect place to put it. It's a great place to put it. Yeah. Yeah, literally anywhere that you can think of, it'll go there. Yeah,
Your
it's a
Honour.
great place to put it. I mean, it can even, if you have an always on pedal, if you've got a delay pedal or something that or a reverb or whatever, you can stick it in that same loop and control everything at the same time. Oh man, I got filmed with Graham Coxon yesterday. Just had to get that in there because it's haven't been able to talk about it because it's been a manic day. There's a name, and I shall drop it. And we built him, basically overhauled a board I built for him a couple of years ago. He's such a great guy, and his new band, The Wave, with his partner Rose,
Right.
such a great band, and he's doing. He had a whole bunch of digital things to get these sounds. We've got like 14 pedals on the board now. The only digital pedal that's on there is a Strymon, the tremolo reverb pedal,
Oh, the Flint.
the Flint. And not by, it was only at the end, it was like, oh wow, that's the only digital thing. Everything else is analog. He's got 2 digital delays, and he's got a jam. And the only reason I thought about this is because I said about putting it in the loop with a delay.
Right.
And he's got a jam delay llama,
Yeah.
Which one?
the red one, the long one, the simple one,
The simple one.
the simple one, just for doing long things. And a Maxon, it's the pink one that's got the dual delay line.
Oh, I'm not
It's
familiar
really,
with
really cool. But anyway, he's just used it on a single delay line for like a slapback, but he has the output volume cranked on it. So it's almost like a pre-delay when the slap comes in.
that. Right,
sure,
cool.
sure.
And he does his solo thing. So he's using the Manson guitar as his main guitar now
Oh, of
Sick.
course,
with the
yeah.
sustainer.
Yeah, wicked.
Oh my goodness. It was like World War III. It was just, the sounds he was getting was unbelievable.
Amazing.
Using a Hamstead.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
a
Yeah,
pedal
yeah, yeah.
board.
dude.
And it was
Sick.
incredible. It was so great. And we talked about the Blur reunion tour and the album, and if you get a chance to go and have a listen to it is Song for Darren. I think that's the last Blur album.
Yeah, that's right.
Just magic. And also have listened to the new Wave album. But anyway, sorry, massive tangent. But yeah, just thinking about delay pedals, and I had to get that out. I've also been, when I was at Robin's last week, and we had to play with this, so that's going to go on his new board as well.
Oh,
Cool,
yeah,
man.
that's wicked, dude.
Because he needs a wah pedal on the board,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he may or may not use a volume pedal most of the time, so we're going to pop that underneath when he wants to use a volume pedal. There it is.
That's wicked.
Happy days. Happy days. BV says, I got it now. That's super weird. Yes, mate. Super weird.
Technology. Great. Yeah, Graham, man, like he was definitely, when he came in last time, it was the old TPS unit that was the same location as the old GigRig place that really cemented the your sound is in your fingers thing for me, because I just remember him coming in, plugging into the JTM 45 that we used every day to test stuff, and it picked up your telly, started playing, just sounded absolutely like Blur.
Yeah.
There was no, this needs to be my specific settings. It could have been anything, but
Well, it's the whole
just
thing
undeniably him.
with him using the Rat, right? It was just the distortion pedal that he saw in the guitar shop
Mm.
that he went for, and there's no other reason. It's just
Yeah.
did
Funny
what it
thing
did.
is with the Rats as well, he's tried all the boutique ones.
Yeah.
It's just the bog one.
Yeah,
that he
man.
likes.
Yeah, incredible
Yeah.
human, and incredible human as well.
Oh,
great.
really, really cool.
Yeah, beautiful. Really,
Really
beautiful.
Amazing guy.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. I'm just going to go and change one setting.
Are there any other questions, Lilybet?
Not specifically about
The-
the more or less. Someone did mention if it can be placed in front of a fuzz face.
Oh, okay. So it is a low impedance. So, yeah, great question. If you place it after the fuzz face, it will work great. If you place it before a silicon transistor fuzz face, you'll be fine. But before a germanium transistor, it is a lower impedance output. So it's probably best placing it after the vintage fuzz.
Sure.
But yeah, because it is an active
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because I like some fuzzes, even some germanium fuzzes, it works great in front of.
Just try
If
it.
you've got, just try it. Like if you've got like an analog man fuzz, it sounds brilliant in front of it.
Cool.
But it is an analog man fuzz, and he just
I feel like that's such an important thing, though. We had so many people ask us for the holy grail of pedal orders and pedals, and it is genuinely just trying whatever
and see what
you
you think.
can and see what works for you, because everyone has a different sort of ideal sound in their head. And I think a lot of people are kind of, it's the same with technology, right? People are scared to push buttons, so people are scared to change pedals around. And I think it's like such a important part of being into effects pedals is just experimenting and trying weird things. Like the one that we always use is Simon from Biffy.
yeah.
The fact that he runs everything on paper should be wrong, like a metal zone and a Strat, but it sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And right, wasn't his delays into the
Yeah.
DD3 in front of the metal zone as
It's
well?
like all into the front,
Yeah.
yeah. But it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Apparently, Lizzie, there's a setting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll sort it out later. It is what it is. Matt Swanson says it's a tad bit quiet but clear, but everyone else is saying the audio is great. Okay, brilliant. And
Matt, turn your headphones up.
Rigdin Dorje says, "Hi Lizzie, hope you're happy and well as always. For your information, there is indeed a sync disconnect with the audio and video. Video lags behind by a second or so. Okay, well we can sort that out. But yeah, so there we go. So look, it's not going to be a long one today. We just wanted to just basically share the joy of getting this out finally. Test our new microphonic devices. and hang out with you lovely people.
We did, if you'd be okay to do so, have a couple of questions from last week that there wasn't time to answer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
if I could throw those your way. So it says, could you discuss using the Wetterbox with digital units to add analog dry through? I play professionally, would love to use my Fractal FM3 for effects without compromising my analog signal.
Yeah. Okay. Fractal digital boys.
It's great.
Can you kill dry in the Fractal?
I'm pretty sure you can.
I would assume so.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
Because I guess if you're using Fractal for wet effects, you should be able to do it,
Yeah,
right?
totally. But if you're
Okay.
using dry, then
So the idea would be if you kill the dry in the Fractal, and I'm assuming you want to use it in stereo as well, whatever, mono, stereo, doesn't matter. Your direct signal goes in, it splits off, goes out the send, into the Fractal, into the return. And then what you do is you blend the wet effects from the Fractal on top of the dry signal. So your dry signal is never digitized. If you go and have a look at the original video that Pete Thorne did on the Wetterbox, he does exactly this using a H9.
Right.
And it just sounds mega. It's a really wonderful way to... There's some really great digital effects. I whistled there when I said that, like an old man whistling,
Cool whip.
as he says.
Cool whip.
Cool whip. But if there's some really cool digital effects, is the old I think it's at the other studio.
what are you looking for?
The big blue delay, the time factor.
Oh, the
Oh,
eventide time.
eventide.
The eventide time
Yeah,
factor.
I think it might be upstairs actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, it is a magic sounding thing, but there's no analog dry through. Stick that in a Wetterbox and you've got one of the best delays ever. And you can pick those up for like relatively cheap now. But they really have a sound. So yeah, a bunch of really cool digital effects that if you just kill the dry in them,
Yeah.
whip them in a Wetterbox and away you go.
Yeah, easy.
Bobsy Teapot.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Did that answer the question adequately?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
We also had James Crawford, who said, obviously you guys deal with a lot of pedalboard builds. Do you guys often deal with integrating rack mount gear? If so, do you enjoy working with rack gear?
Over to you, sir.
No. I'm joking. Yes, we do. I really like the challenge of doing rack-based stuff because it takes a lot more planning than I think necessarily you would initially think because of the lengths between the drawers and the distances between. But yeah, they are really fun. Just really plan it, I guess, is my main bit of advice
Yeah,
for
you just have
rack-based
to-
stuff.
It's the same with doing a pedalboard. You just got to take your time.
Yeah.
And
The thing with rack stuff is that if you make a change, it can be quite involved.
Yeah.
yeah.
As opposed to, pedals.
Yeah.
It's easy. Also, the quality of pedals nowadays,
Exactly.
it just... I remember having an ADA preamp into an IntelliFX. Originally it was a Roland GP8, but then I upgraded to an IntelliFX. But then I got the Marshall preamp, the JMP1,
Yeah.
and then the Marshall, because I thought, well, I'll have to get the Marshall effect, the thing.
Sure.
The sound of disappointment is still ringing in my ears with that thing. But anyway, now I can put a couple of Kingsley pedals on, and the quality of the stuff now is just so good.
Yeah.
But I think the rack things are making a comeback.
Yeah.
Totally. It's
We've
just what
got
works for you.
a massive one in the shop at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is if you're doing specifically something with shelves, would be work out your longest distance with the shelves. Like if you're using like our extension kit, for example, and you've got that on the top shelf, you need to work out that the length that the bottom shelf is fully out, for example.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cut your cables too long and then
Yeah,
you can't
top
get a
and
shelf
bottom
entirely
fully
out, and it's
out.
really annoying.
Otherwise, you pull one drawer out and it pulls the other one in.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
Push me, pull you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
What else we got? Any other?
We do have one more. It says, is it possible to have QMX to switch flip-flop loops simply pressing one button only? Loop 1 and 2 on flip-flop. I press 1 to activate loop 1, then press it again to deactivate 1 and activate 2.
Nice.
You would
no.
need to go, you're only pressing one button, but you're pressing 1 to turn on loop 1, then you press 2 to turn off loop 1 and turn on loop 2.
Otherwise, the unit wouldn't know if you want to turn off 1 or
Yeah.
flip to 2 in that scenario.
One of the big questions we get constantly about flip-flop, and as soon as you can see it, it's really easy to understand. But trying to write that in text is really difficult, and it sounds way more complicated than it actually is, you know?
I was on a call last week. I mean, he might be watching this, Charlie Thomas. He tends to watch it weekly. But he asked me, like, can you explain flip-flop? And I just said, press those buttons on the back of the Quartermaster, hit foot switches 1 and 2. And then he went, oh. So I thought, it's easier for you to do it and see it than it is for me to try and explain it.
Yeah.
It's like explaining reverb, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, you go into a big hall and then you go like that and you hear reverb, you go, that's reverb. But trying to actually explain what it is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Matt Swanson says the ability to modulate the more or less with a control voltage for tremolo effect is next level.
Yeah, it's cool,
cheers,
isn't it?
mate. It's really cool. There's a really great device from Old Blood Noise Endeavors that we actually stock called the MTET. And that will take a MIDI signal and turn it into an expression signal.
Yeah, MIDI.
So if you've got a G3 and you want to send, like using the MIDI in G3 with the expression pedal in and controlling standard expression pedals, it's a genius thing, right?
And you can create tremolos using the sequencer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So using that in G3, using the sequencer, you can create tremolos and things with it more or less. It is so much fun.
We also did it as well, step easier if you don't have, say, G3 and you have a Quartermaster. You could do it with the Ramper from Old Blood Noise as well, which is like an expression pedal type box thing that you can set it between 2 parameters and then you modulate between the 2. We did it with that as well, didn't we? We had a tremolo working with the Ramper, which we also stock.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a question here. Rigzindorje says, I've got the new more or less units on order. Thank you, mate. That's great. So can't wait. I saw the auxiliary out, so I know the signal can be split. Does it by any chance have a TRS input? Is it possible to pass a ring tip through the unit? It's a mono input. The signal is balanced internally, but it is a mono input. The balance internally, so basically you've got, it's a balanced pair of, I mean, I don't mind telling everyone, we use it's the same sort of technology that we use in G3. And the preamp on G3 using a
Differential amplifier.
yeah what you differential amplifier, but it's the way that we control it, and the signal's balanced, so any noise from whatever just gets cancelled out.
Yeah.
So it's so clean. Doing that in stereo is just, it was really important to keep it really tiny. The amount of tech in this little box is epic, and it would be twice as big.
Because we did trim the fat of features originally, because it was getting bigger and bigger. We were adding more and more stuff to it, but ultimately it needed to fit anywhere on anyone's board.
Yep. So it would have been literally twice the size of this. But the signal, the auxiliary output, is a straight split from the input. So if you're tuning whatever and you go down to 0, you still have your tuner out. A really neat way to use it is have the auxiliary out as your main amplifier and use the other output to blend in a second amplifier for solos and
that's
stuff.
cool.
It's really cool.
That's a cool idea.
Or you can use that to blend, to send the signal to your wet effects. If you've got, let's say you've got a deluxe reverb for example, 2 channels on the deluxe reverb. The auxiliary output goes to the main input. The normal output goes to your wet effects that go to the second channel.
Cool.
And then you've got a master volume for your effects that is mixed in
that's a
parallel.
clever idea.
It is awesome.
That's
it's
a really
so
clever idea.
fun. So fun. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny, you know. I'm so proud of this. This and the underliner, 2 of the favorite things that we've done.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
really simple, but done
Very elegant.
Done
just,
right,
yeah. And so one thing that we always say at GigRig is, if it's not an elegant solution, it's not a solution.
Yeah.
So, and that's an elegant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just place it down there and try not to bang the table. Okay.
What else?
Lucy Cole says, hey, besties.
Hey, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. Thanks for tuning in.
She says, which one has the most satisfying switch and clicks? There's no switches on this. It's all done. Okay, you ready? Here we go. No switches. Oh, that's just me rubbing the pedal. The clicks were probably my hip.
All our devices that have foot switches have the same clicks because they use our optical foot switch technology.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
To be fair.
Yeah. It is a very satisfying thing. So Hampstead use our foot switches in their products.
Big
And-
Hampstead.
Yeah. Great guys.
Yeah.
And it was a point of contention because I said we tried all the best foot switches. So as soon as we tried your foot switches, he said it was a poo moment because it was
wicked.
it was like they're expensive, but we can't go back now.
Yeah.
We tried these.
They're the
But
best.
yeah, and they designed some really great stuff. Lucy Cole says we love ASMR. Hey Lucy, so we love ASMR too. I think this is the way you do it.
And we're cancelled.
Right. Okay.
Anything else?
I think. Oh, so Eagle Ray Rob says, can you flip phase on a split signal? No, it's just a straight in phase, straight through. If you want to flip the phase, that's a humdinger. And Eagle Ray Rob says, what's the max wattage that more or less can handle on the input? Well, the wattage is a thing of current. So we're up about 100 milliamps, I think, of current
I think so.
on this. But voltage, so it can actually handle, because it uses the same voltage technology that we use in most of our stuff, so it can handle like up to 30 volts on the input, but it won't change anything because all it does is internally it uses like 18 volts plus minus to give it that massive headroom. So changing the input of the voltage of the DC won't change the sound of the pedal at all.
Sure.
Yeah. It is a groovy thing. Charlie here. Very cool ideas using the more or less with 2 channels on an amp. Thanks, Dan. It's really fun. It's a really fun thing to try. I'd suggest you give it a go. Okay. So I think, unless Lizzie has anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you. But thank you for the support with the more or less and the orders that have been coming in.
Oh, lovely.
Very exciting.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. It's always a really fun day. It's the end of I nearly did it with this. I think I took some pictures at the train station. I was going to do a video on what it actually takes to get a product from inception through to this moment. But I didn't.
You also discussed doing when we were going to call it Freshford, doing like a horror film for the advert.
Yeah.
And you were going to call it Fleshford.
Yeah.
And you'd like mapped out this horror film with all of us.
That was part of the conversation at Freshford.
Yeah.
I think I'd just seen, was it Room 666?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, makes sense.
the Foo Fighters film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Look, we're going to knock it on the head there. Thank you so much, everyone, and thanks, BV. So, moving forward, we've got audio.
Everything's done.
There
We've
you
got
go.
check it out. We've got good cameras, even though one of them's turned off and we don't know why.
Yeah, we're ignoring that.
We're ignoring that one,
What are you talking
and it's
about?
all good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No one knows what I'm
Problem for
talking
another
about.
No, you are.
Yeah. So, if you want to join us, how lovely! Ilias from Jam Pedals says, "Congrats on the more or less." Thank you, buddy.
Cheers,
That's
man.
so
Thank
sweet.
you, dude.
And I got a lovely message yesterday from Matt from Boss. He was like, "Man, I've been looking for one of these for years."
Oh, Matt
That's
so
Knight.
amazing,
That
dude.
night. So
He
that's
is
so
an
lovely.
incredible
He's
human
legit.
being.
Just a beautiful guy. It is a lovely community.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So anyway, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week, and we'll get into some more pedal news and stuff that's going on. Have a fantastic week. Thanks for everything. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.